Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to take a closer look at Nvidia. And it's crazy. I feel like every other day I'm doing either a good episode or a bad episode. We can see right now the stock is down roughly 6.6%. After hours, the stock is down roughly 1%. So we can see, unfortunately, today is going to be one of those bad days for Nvidia. And we're going to take a closer look at all the different things hitting the stock right now. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So this video is dropping out a little bit later than normal, and it is because I am on travel right now, but I feel like right now with the way the market is, I had to drop a video just to share my overall thoughts. So first, let's start off with some of the bearish points impacting Nvidia. I want to say first, we do have two semiconductor stocks that recently reported earnings that unfortunately didn't give any real confidence to the semiconductor market. First was ARM Holdings. ARM Holdings reported yesterday, and the stock opened up. The stock is down roughly 15.7%, and after hours, the stock is down roughly 1.7%. I will be dropping a video on ARM Holdings either tomorrow morning or Saturday, depending on my travels, but I do want to cover ARM Holdings. One of my biggest complaints for ARM Holdings has always been the valuation. And I think that's why the stock definitely took a hit after earnings. Again, I will be doing so. So I wouldn't really worry too much of saying, hey, look, ARM Holdings is saying that there's a bubble in the AI market. I think it was specifically for ARM Holdings. Then today we do have Intel that reported earnings after hours, and again tomorrow, hopefully depending on how travel is, I will be able to drop an episode on Intel. But Intel after hours is down roughly 18, almost 19%, right? I think that is insane. The company is going to open up with a market cap of less than $100 billion. If you've been following this channel, you know that Intel, what we've said is, hey, look, Intel definitely not going to be a great stock in the short term of things. This is a stock that can really only win with its foundry business, but its foundry business will take multiple years for really to show any forms of numbers. And it seems like the market is really starting to look at that right now. So Intel, definitely interesting. And we're going to look at the long-term thesis in form of its foundry business, maybe on another episode. But we can see these two semiconductor companies that are very popular in the semiconductor space have kind of created more fear for the semiconductor companies and companies like Nvidia. Now, there was another thing that is impacting Nvidia right now. So Nvidia reportedly, the information reports that Nvidia faces United States Department of Justice probe over complaints from rivals. So I think this is going to be interesting. I mean, Nvidia right now just dominates this market from pure technologies. I've done few episodes on this where I don't believe Nvidia is doing anything that's antitrust or anti-monopoly or anti-competitive in the space. I just think at the end of the day, their products are just so amazing that it makes it seem that way. And hopefully with these kind of facing right now, they're going over probes, but I'm pretty sure these probes are going to find that same type of information that is not necessarily something that Nvidia is doing bad, but obviously this is going to continue to add more and more negative sentiment to the stock. The final thing that I do believe kind of brought even more negative news to Nvidia today is Amazon did report earnings, and Amazon was a mixture. Amazon had both good news and bad news for Nvidia. The good news is very similar to every other big tech companies. They're pretty much saying the same thing. AI demand is so high, and they're going to continue to spend in CapEx for AI chips and AI infrastructure, right? So they mentioned that this first half of 2024 was great, but the second half is going to be even bigger in forms of CapEx. But there was some negativity that Amazon did bring to Nvidia stock. So pretty much the CEO of Amazon says, hey, look, we have a deep partnership with Nvidia, but our customers are saying that we want cheaper prices. And because of that, we are kind of using our own custom silicon or our own AI chips to help with that. And in the second version of these chips that are coming later this year, they're going to be very compelling on price to performance, and they are seeing high demand for these chips. So obviously this is an added fear of, hey, look, big tech is coming out and is going to eat the lunch from companies like Nvidia or going to reduce their dependency of Nvidia. So I think it's crazy. I mean, to think that Amazon will be able to do this. I mean, the first generation, we've heard reports that are not doing that well. Obviously, the CEO of Amazon is going to say they're doing amazing about it. But I'm pretty sure if you ask them to break it down in forms of AI chip utilization, it's not going to be close. And especially with NVIDIA and AMD, for example, releasing chips now on an annual cadence, then I don't believe these big tech giants are going to be able to keep up anytime soon. But obviously, the market hears this from the CEO and it brings more negative sentiment for NVIDIA stock. So I want to say these are really some of the things impacting the overall stock, with obviously macroeconomics impacting the stock as well, as we did see that today was kind of a red day for the semiconductor space. So for me, obviously a lot of negativity for the stock right now. But like I mentioned, for me, under 115, I think NVIDIA, it's not a heavy buy, but it's definitely at least dollar cost average to get your feet wet, or to get my feet wet, or increase my position a little bit, because a lot of the risk to reward ratio has kind of been eliminated from there. Also, if I don't do a video, but if you want to learn my thoughts on some of these semiconductor companies, both ARM and Qualcomm are obviously going to be updated to my earnings ebook. I do have two ebooks, and right now, if you purchase both of them, you get $20 off. The first is kind of encyclopedia of the semiconductor public companies out there. The second is an earnings insight for this upcoming quarter. The great thing is both are living documents. So even if you purchase now, as I update the book with new earnings or either new companies, you will get the updated version sent to your email. But right now I have a great offer if you do purchase the books at the same time. And obviously that offer won't last forever. And I want to just look at, for example, earnings per share to kind of show why I'm not too worried about NVIDIA in the long terms, because I do believe in the long-term fundamental wins. And here we can see earnings per share for this year, for the end of this fiscal year for NVIDIA, which ends in January, so about 5 months from now. Am I correct? We're in August, so around months from now is an estimate of roughly $3.04 on the high side, right? This is what the most bullish analyst believes that NVIDIA will do. The low estimate is around $2.54. I'm going to really I believe the bullish side is a little bit more right here for NVIDIA, and it's going to be closer to $3. And at $3 right now, that means that the PE ratio for the end of this fiscal year is closer to like 36, 37, which isn't that crazy in my opinion. Now, on the high end for next fiscal year, so about 17 months from now, the high estimate is about $5.30. Even if we say about $5 at around these levels, it's closer to like a 22 forward PE ratio, which I don't think is that crazy, especially since next year we're going to get the Blackwell architecture, which has such huge demand from all these big players. And as we heard from everybody, even Amazon, we've heard from Amazon, we heard from Google, we heard from Microsoft, we heard from Meta, that they are increasing their capex, and next year is most likely going to be the same. So at least for the short term, I do believe NVIDIA still has plenty and plenty of demand for their chips. So that's why I'm necessarily not worried. But just like I've always mentioned, these are not the prices where I would load up the truck and buy 100% position in NVIDIA. It's all about risk to reward. At the moment, though, I am still bullish on the company. Now, I do want to say there are some other companies that I am keeping a closer eye on. I think AMD at these levels is sitting very, very attractive. I really like an AMD under 150. Obviously, the stock sitting at 132 looks pretty juicy. I'm not one that really loves Supermicro. This is the only one I don't own, but Supermicro in the 600s doesn't seem too crazy. Obviously, markets can go out down. And the other one that gets really exciting is Marvell right now at $63. Anything below 66, in my opinion, looks pretty attractive. A lot of investors also like Broadcom, so Broadcom could be an interesting play right now. Broadcom is probably up after hours. I'm not sure if they reported earnings. I don't think so. If I had to guess why they're up right now is because they probably do create Amazon's custom AI chips. So this could obviously be bullish for Broadcom in the long term of things. But overall, I've talked about a few companies already that I believe can definitely benefit if the AI market is real. So short term, things can get pretty scary, and obviously stock prices can go down even further. I'm not saying this is the bottom, but in long terms, I believe, at least for now, Nvidia definitely has the potential to grow from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope I'm not too tired and this episode wasn't too boring, but I just want to share my thoughts, and see you all next time.